Have you ever wondered how you can improve your smash? Well, in this video, we're going to do a smash clinic where we analyse 8 of your smashes and show you how each smash technique can be improved.
Yeah, and it's very likely you'll be making some of these mistakes yourself. It's going to be a good one, so let's get straight into the first smash that was sent in by Darren.
Now, this was a smash winner, helped by Darren's great placement. But there is one technical point we noticed that could help him improve his power. So, his preparation looks good. He's facing sideways, elbows back, and his non-racket arm is up. But it's at this point that the technique can be improved a lot.
Yeah, Darren actually keeps his hips and legs facing sideways whilst he's rotating his upper body and bringing his arm forwards to strike the shuttle. So why is this bad, and what should he be doing instead?
Well, here you can see Greg in a similar position on court, but he's rotating his legs, then hips, then his torso, before finally bringing his arm forwards to strike the shuttle. This means Greg is using his entire body to help generate power, rather than just using his upper body like Darren is. So, if you make a similar mistake to Darren, how can you fix this?
Well, we'd recommend starting simple. Stand at home or on court with a racket in your hand and practice this full body rotation without a shuttle. This might seem crazily simple, but you need to retrain your muscle memory to rotate in this sequence. And you should practice it that much that you can do it with your eyes closed.
Okay, let's move on to our second smash, which was sent in by Pete from Thailand. Now, Pete is clearly a high-level player and has really good technique. And there's actually not much we would change here. But to be really picky, we're going to compare Pete's jump smash to Go v Shem's.
So, if we pause this here, you can see that Go's non-racket arm is pointing up, which really helps him open out his chest. Comparing this to Pete, his non-racket arm isn't up quite as much, which means that his chest isn't as open, reducing his power. Lifting it up more to around this position will mean that he can create more rotational speed and therefore more power. Think of it like swimming. If you were to swim with your arms starting here, you're not going to create as much power and speed than your arms starting here.
Hopefully that analogy made sense. Now, using your non-racket arm is really important even if you don't jump up. And we're going to explain why with our third smash that was sent in by Anna. So, Anna timed her smash as well. But we have one technical point that will help her improve her power and steepness of shot. If we pause here, you can see that Anna's non-racket arm is out to the side of her. This then results in her falling sideways as she strikes the shuttle, not only losing power because she's hitting further away from her, but also reducing the angle on the shot as she's letting the shuttle drop.
So what you should do instead is have your non-racket arm pointing up in front of you, and this helps you stay on balance and transfer your body weight forwards into the shot, taking it earlier and generating more power. If we look at women's doubles world number 1, Jia Fan, she has her non-racket arm pointing up and straight in front of her right until the last millisecond. And so does legend of the game Hendra Setuan and another big hitter in women's doubles, Gabriela Stoeva. And on a side note, you might have noticed that all of these are using a similar footwork to Anna. They're not jumping, they're getting their body weight behind the shuttle, almost hopping onto the back leg and then using their non-racket arm to propel themselves forwards into the shot. And for many of you, we would actually advise doing this type of footwork from a high lift, rather than trying to do a huge jump smash. You'll likely get a more consistent, more powerful smash just focusing on perfecting the rotation and timing instead.
Now our next smash was sent in by A, and despite managing to get good power, he was actually doing a combination of Pete and Anna's technical mistakes. A, his non-racket arm is a bit too low, and B, it's out to the side. And because of this, he didn't rotate at all, essentially only using his racket arm to generate power.
So, after explaining the disadvantages of not using the non-racket arm effectively, let's quickly show you one way to correct this. Here, you should get someone to lift a shuttle up to you and prepare to play a smash whilst telling yourself to keep pointing your non-racket arm up and in front of you until as late as you possibly can. You might miss time or even miss some shots at first, but experiment with it and have some fun. Hopefully you'll feel your non-racket arm helping you speed up your rotation and therefore increasing your power in the shot.
The next step would then be to move to the shuttle like you would in a match. And we'd also recommend filming yourself and watching it back to see what it looks like, as it's usually different to how you imagine it in your head. So that was 3 smashes, all based around the same point, but the next 4 are all very different. And next up, at smash number 5, we have Antoine from France. Watching Antoine, you might be thinking, his technique looks nice. And you're right, it is. But that's also the problem. We think Antoine could add more power into his shot by putting some more explosiveness into it. But what do we mean by this?
Well, if you look closely, he looks like he's holding the racket tightly the entire time. Relaxing his grip and then squeezing it as he strikes the shuttle will help add a few % more power.
Yeah, so let's show you what we mean and listen to the sound of the shuttle from the strings to determine the difference in power. Here, Greg is holding his grip quite tightly the entire time, compared to now where he squeezes it as he's striking the shuttle. It's a subtle difference, but an important one. Other than that, Antoine, great job, très bien.
Okay, next up we have Drake with smash number 6. Now, unfortunately, this smash was an error, but this was because Drake made a common mistake that we see a lot of people making. If we play the smash in slow motion, you can see that Drake reaches the top height of his jump here, but the shuttle is still all the way up here. This means that Drake now has to strike the shuttle as he's moving downwards.
Yeah, and because of this, he's towards the end of his swing, meaning that he hits the shuttle around here rather than here, causing it to go in the net. So, how can you fix this if you also often hit your smashes into the net?
Well, it's all about your timing. So, if you're doing a jump smash like Drake, try to jump just a fraction later. Jumping a few milliseconds later is the difference between striking the shuttle with your racket at this angle compared to a more optimal angle.
Okay, 2 more smashes to go. And if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you smash the subscribe button with good technique, of course. Now, on to smash 7, which was sent in by Leon from Singapore. So, if you watch Leon's feet closely, at this point here, he should bring his right foot back to around here so that he can get behind the shuttle. But he only brings his right foot here, which means he ends up having to jump up and backwards to the smash, meaning he doesn't generate as much power as he could.
Yeah, here you can see Jenny in a similar position on court, but she's getting her racket leg further back and then transferring her body weight forwards into the shot. So what should you do if you often find yourselves moving backwards as you smash? Well, firstly, you might need to look at your footwork so that you can get behind the shuttle. And we actually have a video on 4 different types of footwork that you can use. But secondly, you might sometimes be better playing a drop or clear if you just can't get in a good enough position to play a smash.
Now in this next smash, we see something that a lot of people do, but actually don't recognise they're doing. See if you can spot it. So what we see here is Douglas having a short pre-movement in his preparation to almost line up with the shuttle. People often do this subconsciously to reassure themselves that they're going to make good contact with the shuttle, but unfortunately it's disastrous for the swing.
Yeah, this is because it reduces your preparation time. As you might be able to tell when slowing this smash down, this movement is fairly pointless. The time wasted with this initial movement is often also causing him to hit the shuttle at a relatively low contact point. Again, another key mistake people make.
Compared to others we've seen in the past, Douglas doesn't actually spend too long doing this pre-movement, which allows him to still hit a pretty good shot. But yeah, if he wanted to increase his power, he'd need to bring his racket back further to open his chest out more and have one smooth forwards motion.
Again, a simple routine to work on this is to get a friend to lift you and practice opening out your chest and then swinging in one motion. Film yourself and practice, practice, practice. And don't forget to practice it in a more open routine too, where you're moving to the shuttle like you would in a game. And it was great to see Douglas having fun at the end of his practice too, as well as many others that sent in clips to us. That's what badminton's all about.
Now, if you make more than one of these mistakes, then don't try to fix them all at once. Focus on improving one area at a time so you don't get overwhelmed. And if you have a friend, partner or teammate that makes any of these mistakes, then we'd love for you to share this video with them. And lastly, if you want a step-by-step tutorial to help you improve your smash, then click here. And we'll hopefully see you on another video very soon. Bye!